Shalom, Bear Nation. It is I with the fabulous, tremendous haircut. Very Spartanage. Spartanage? That's a word. Spartanish, as you can see. Laconic. How's that for a word? Laconic. 22 March, Bear Daily Brief. I have many pages of notes. There's actually 9 pages of notes here. 7 are for me. I'm sorry, 2 are for me. 9 are for y'all. The best words, tremendous. It might have something to do with this steel glass in my hand. Believe me. Now, note from the Bear Independent Intel staff. After seeing the wide swath of intel submitted over the last few days, the watchfulness and care of Bear Nation, the determination of critical infrastructure personnel nationwide, and the heartfelt sense of responsibility held by first responders, the military, local governments, and many citizens nationwide has been very encouraging in these difficult times. We at Bear Independent sincerely hope these compilation reports bless you all. Thank you for continuing submissions of what you are seeing and hearing wherever you are. We are doing our best to keep up with the wonderful response we are receiving from you. Stay frosty and soap up, Bear Independent Intel staff. Amen. The report I'm about to read to you is available on Patreon. Just go to Patreon, bearindependent.com if you want the written report. This report right here, you do not get my notes, and you might not get the cute little bear logo. But this 7-page report in my hands right now, the entirety of it is available on Patreon, bearindependent.com. If you have intel to share with us, intel at bearindependent.com. There are precisely 0 A's in the word independent. Bearindependent.com, intel at bearindependent.com. Please and thank you. There's a lot going on in the world since last we talked, boys and girls. The world is crazy. I have one more note from the Intel staff encouraging me to encourage y'all to visit the Bear Independent store for Bear Minimum kits and the Bear IFAC. So y'all can check that out as well. There's lots of stuff on the web store, including at our cost, the scriptures. So if you find yourself a little hopeless right now, go check out the web store, get a copy of the scriptures. We are happy to send them to you. And if you cannot afford a copy of the scriptures, shoot me an email and we'll send you one for free, because that's how we roll. Now, moving right along, I'm going to read to you the 2 or more eyewitness accounts that have been provided to me by our Intel staff, who frankly are totally badass, and I'm very thankful for them. First of all, Rand Paul. Rand Paul has COVID-19. Boy, the rumors are going to fly. We're going to see what happens with that, but Rand Paul has COVID-19. In other news, hydrochloroquine and zithromycin treatment is questionable if you have certain underlying conditions. It can spike your heart rate and your BP. So you need to do this in the presence of a medical professional. So they say. We'll see what happens. I think the clinical trials, I've spoken to a couple of doctors about this, and it looks like it's going to do everything we want it to do. So that's wonderful. 2 or more eyewitness accounts. This is Torah. In the mouths of 2 or 3 is everything established. Many are continuing to receive essential business personnel travel permission letters, placards, etc. to continue critical infrastructure operations. We've talked about this. In a state of emergency, travel is likely to be restricted. I really believe that travel will be restricted shortly. You do not issue permits for something unless you intend to control access to it or availability of it. And so I really want to say, boys and girls, in a month, we'll all be like, that coronavirus thing, that was crazy, man. I'm so glad it's over with. I don't believe that to be the case. I think we need to settle in for the long haul and start doing things that matter. Start planting gardens, figuring out where our food is going to come from, develop a community watch or a protocol for security on your property or whatever it is. Start doing the things that matter and settle in for the long haul. InfraGard members received Government Emergency Telecommunications Service GETS cards. Think of it like a super high-speed calling card from back in the day. Remember those things? You'd walk up to a payphone and you didn't have any cash. Do you even know what payphones are? Those things. GETS cards for InfraGard members only for use when normal phone calls are not going through. I myself have had this today. I tried to make a couple of phone calls today that, according to Verizon, the customer that I was trying to call was not available. Tried back a little bit later, they were available. So that's anecdotal. I don't know the why behind that, but I do know that it happened to me. The card will be active for 30 days in response to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis. Graham County, North Carolina will be restricting certain kinds of traffic on some highways, with one complete closure all starting on March 27th. Supply chain and industry. Multiple reports of shipping container cargo moving again. Docks are unloading and train shipments are moving. This is good. This is good news. Tyson is ramping up production and hatching more chicks. This is very good news. As we discussed on the 20th, Tyson was quoted as saying internally, not externally, that they only had enough birds for about the next 60 days. So this is great. Hatching more chicks is great. This is something actually that we were just talking about here earlier with some neighbors. They have an incubator that'll hold 52 chicks. And I'm like, fill that sucker up and let's do it. I got 52 eggs on my counter right over here. We can make this happen. And yeah, they're not store-bought eggs. They're farm eggs that have been fertilized, so they will incubate. Legal and political. Many reports of many different states seriously considering or already instituting California-style essential services-only travel restrictions. The interesting thing about the California style is it doesn't really mean anything. I don't think you're going to see more of that happening. I think that California is doing a piss-poor job of actually effecting a quarantine, balanced by, who'd have thought that we'd say California is actually doing a good job of respecting people's civil liberties? I don't know. I guess if you live in a state where it's okay to poop in public in a litter box or the middle of the street, then maybe. States with stay-at-home or shelter-in-place orders currently or soon to be enacted: California, New York, Illinois, Ohio, Connecticut, Oregon, Louisiana, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Let me say that again. States with stay-at-home or shelter-in-place orders currently or soon to be enacted: California, New York, Illinois, Ohio, Connecticut, Oregon, Louisiana, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. What does this mean? If you're in one of these states, no fear, no panic. You should already have what you need to stay home for a while. If you don't, calmly go to the nearest place to get some stuff and go get some stuff and then go home and then stay there. Philadelphia, St. Louis, Kansas City, and New Orleans are also likely going to mandate in the very near future, and this is confirmed by 2 or more witnesses, shelter-in-place orders. Certain counties as well: San Miguel, Colorado, Athens, Clark, Georgia, and Blaine, Idaho, are going to be issuing shelter-in-place orders or already have. Newly passed, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, the FFCRA, the FCRA Act, requires certain employers to provide their employees with paid sick leave or family leave for specified reasons related to COVID-19. Administered and enforced by the Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division, yay government, applicable through 31 December 2020. The Department of Justice has asked Congress for the ability to ask chief judges to detain pre-trial, trial, and post-trial, to detain people indefinitely without trial during times of emergencies. Repeat, the Department of Justice has asked Congress for the ability to ask chief judges to detain people indefinitely without trial during emergencies. It could affect pre-arrest, post-arrest, pre-trial, trial, and post-trial procedures in criminal and juvenile proceedings and all civil process and proceedings. Individual judges can currently pause proceedings during emergencies, but DOJ says their proposal would make sure all judges could handle emergencies in a consistent manner. Shalom, habeas corpus. It was nice knowing you. Peace out, bro, Chaim. I know for a fact that district courts are already suspending court dates indefinitely. They are clearing their calendars and basically saying, hey, don't call us, we'll call you and let you know when to return to court, which is very likely going to happen. People are definitely just going to show up for that court date 4.5 months from now. That will absolutely happen. In a March 13 letter, Trump said he was declaring the Stafford Act based on the fact that our entire country is now facing a significant public health emergency. This enables FEMA to use $40 billion in federal funding for emergency response, such as building medical facilities. Trump has already used the Stafford Act several times for natural disasters. Clinton also used it in 2000 to address the West Nile virus in New Jersey and New York. Several reports of local police and sheriffs enforcing shelter-in-place orders, including issuing fines to violators. In Minnesota, the National Guard deployed to assist in delivering supplies to hospitals. The governor has stated that he is considering telling Minnesotans to shelter in place. So if you're in Minnesota, where it's pretty cold up there right now, oofta, you should probably get some stuff so that you can stay home for a while. It's a good idea, Military. Many mentions of drill cancellations for various branches, including the National Guard. Reports of National Guard being told to remain on standby for state orders. I'm seeing this all over the place. Changes in military traffic, ground and air, as well as increases and decreases in usual activity at military facilities have been noted by many across the country. Resources are being moved. Many reports of National Guard being or about to be activated to help with medical needs at screening areas and or quarantined areas. National Guard is not expected to aid in crowd control at this time, though police forces are carrying out trainings and enforcing bans on non-essential activity. Video released of National Guard dropping medical supplies to over 200 hospitals in Indiana. Governor Eric Holcomb activated the National Guard on 17 March 2020 after declaring a state emergency. In a lot of cases, in a lot of states, we have state emergencies being declared. Part of that is for a couple of reasons. The first is it gives them access to funding that they don't regularly have access to. The second is it gives them access to resources they don't generally have access to, including the National Guard, not for things like martial law, but for things like distribution, additional labor, so forth and so on. Broward County, Florida National Guard has been called up all of its medical professionals to assist with medical needs. This was tweeted by the Florida National Guard. Military leaders asked to ensure all members of subordinate units canvassed for state active duty volunteers. In the medical column, West Virginia, coronavirus testing tents being set up starting on Monday in the Kanawha Valley, Charleston area. North Central West Virginia, large federal facilities are on lockdown. No visitors are permitted. Employees must self-scan IDs at the gate with law enforcement there to assist if needed. All employees who are able must telework. On-site employees must practice social distancing and hygiene requirements. No non-essential travel. Several places report nurses are signing out masks and only using one per day or one per shift. And there's a toddler in the room now, so please bear with me. And Mom made breakfast burritos for dinner because when you have, 80 chickens now? When you have 80 chickens and you make sausage out of turkeys from scratch, breakfast burritos are a good idea. Hold on, the toddler forgot something. Very important. Very riveting. Riveting.
I forgot this. Oh, your juice.
Several places report nurses are signing out masks and only using one per day or one per shift, even in places without any confirmed cases yet. This is cautionary personal protective equipment rationing. MASH tents in ER parking lots are confirmed in the Pacific Northwest. More central states are beginning to see their first deaths from COVID-19. Arizona, Oklahoma, Minnesota, and Mississippi, among others. National medical stockpile has arrived in Indiana via the National Guard. Several states are seeing rapid jumps in the number of cases, such as 20 or more per day. New York City is it's done. It's done for, as they would say. They have wonderful pizza. It's fat. Have you had the white slice? But you're probably going to die of COVID-19 if you stay there for a while. And I hate that because we know lots of people there. And I really, truly hope that you have bugged out from your places on the east side of the bridge to your places on the west side of the bridge. This is what I've meant for years. Population density matters. And not just because, hey, the zombie apocalypse, if there's lots of people behaving badly around you, what are you going to do about it? Now there's lots of people being sick around you. What are you going to do about it? And I realize that ship has sailed. What are we going to do about it now? But if you've profited anything from my words to this point, I would ask that you would just continue to consider that they might have some value. And if you can GTFO, GTFO. Go Oscar Mike. Societal in general. Many are saying that background checks are not or will not be available for firearms purchases. Top National Guard General has refuted rumors of nationwide quarantine. Non-violent offenders are still being released across the country, but there are select places that report that has not yet happened in their area. I don't know why they're doing this. I have heard rumors, unconfirmed rumors, that prison and jail staff are sheltering their families in place in these facilities. I know firsthand from a law enforcement officer that I know that in his area, he responded to 4 burglaries yesterday in an area where up to this point in his entire career, he has never responded to 4 burglaries. And now, with these prisoners being released, crime is way up. This is in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. I know this for a fact to be happening. Hawaii State and all islands are on quarantine lockdown. Just talked to a buddy today who's in the Navy, stationed out in Hawaii. Shaloha, bro. Many businesses have closed or reduced hours. Staff laid off, including airports and population-dense areas. State restrictions are causing an inconvenience to family burying the deceased, people who have died of normal things. Funerals, if held, are often limited in size. Some parlors are hosting webcam funerals. Unemployment is skyrocketing around the country, hitting record highs. Northwest Arkansas and central Oklahoma, rationing has begun in stores. Unconfirmed but whispered elsewhere. Confirmed with my own 2 eyes or ears in Northwest Arkansas and central Oklahoma. Amazon and grocery stores are giving raises and or hiring staff. I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, and or hiring staff. So there's always a silver lining to these clouds. If you need a job, see Amazon. See Walmart. Walmart is hiring 150,000 people. Kroger's hiring 10,000 people. Over-the-road truck drivers are making bank right now. Security contractors are very, very soon going to start making a ton of money. Medical professionals, forget it. If you've even walked into a medical school, they're like, yeah, you're hired, doc. There's always an upside. It just sucks that this upside comes at such a price. Natural disasters. A magnitude 5.4 earthquake has affected Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, Hungary, Slovenia, and Austria today. Just for a moment, because I can, because it's my show. Matthew 2:4. Matthew 24. And going out, Yeshua went away from the set-apart place, the temple. Jesus walked away from the temple, and his taught ones, his apostles, came near to point out to him the buildings in the set-apart place. And Yeshua said to them, do you not see all these? Truly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another at all, which shall not be thrown down. And he sat on the Mount of Olives, and the taught ones, the apostles, came to him separately, saying, say to us, when shall this time be? And what is the sign of your coming and the end of an age? And Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, the anointed of the Most High, Yahuwah, your Elohim, said to him, take heed that no one leads you astray, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. And you shall begin to hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be scarcities of food, and deadly diseases, and earthquakes in diverse places. And all these are the beginnings of the birth pangs. Now, I'm not saying that it's the end of the world, but I am saying that if I see two witnesses witnessing uninterrupted for 1,260 days on the Temple Mount, and people being consumed with fire coming out of their mouths, we are in a whole different ball game, boys and girls. Reminder, tornado season is gearing up, May through June. Wildfire season, June through August, and hurricane season, June through November. And in Hawaii, seasonal floods and rock and mudslides, tornadoes and hurricanes, tropical storms are generally expected during this time. Now, everything else from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 3 more pages of single accounts, rumors, and leaks, all of which is available on Patreon. But I'm not going to read it here because I have no interest in adding to the disinformation on YouTube. So take all of this with a grain of salt and do your own homework, please. We are neither a news organization nor an intelligence agency. In Hawaii right now, due to heavy rainfall, most low elevation areas have seen flooding on the streets and the major roadways. In Hawaii, surfers have spotted dozens upon dozens of unidentifiable aircraft flying in a perfect straight line, very tight formation, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, heading northwest before sunrise. Multiple incidents. In southern Illinois, witnesses saw 40 silent, lightless, unidentified aircraft in a single line formation heading northeast. There were 4 larger aircraft with flashing markers escorting. International news. And then we're about to put a bow on this thing because I got to eat me a breakfast taco for dinner. Missionaries overseas are choosing not to return to the United States. I know this firsthand. I have brothers and sisters overseas serving right now in the missions field, and they are choosing not to return to the United States. The military has quarantined Iquitos, Peru, a sizable remote mountain town. No more planes or boats bringing food without military permission. No one is sure there is even a confirmed case of COVID-19 there. The mission house with 15 people, including a young lady from Iowa, is now rationing food. 2 eggs, 1 cup of rice, and 1 slice of bread per person per day. Repeat, 2 eggs, 1 cup of rice, and 1 slice of bread per person per day. What do we just read in Matthew 24? There will be scarcity of food. Internet conjecture. China Mobile lost 8.116 million mainland-located users in January and February. The cause is unknown. The translation from the original Hong Kong article is, although although the decline accounted for less than 1% of China Mobile's 942 million subscribers, the sharp drop in numbers is still unusual. Transfer of phone numbers to another provider are blamed, but this news is sparking concerns that disease may be worse than reported, meaning that these people didn't transfer, 8.116 million people did not transfer their phone numbers. They simply no longer required one because they'd be dead. Now, this is complete conjecture. Manila, Philippines. Non-essential businesses are closed. One person per household is allowed out for groceries by showing an ID pass issued by the authorities. And in Greece, per Prime Minister's orders, citizens are not allowed to leave their homes unless necessary, whether going to work or walking their dog. People must have their ID, passport, or specific authorized documents on their person. Lastly, disconfirmations. General Joseph Langiel dispelled rumors among the National Guard troops supporting a nationwide quarantine on Twitter. I quote, "I hear unfounded rumors about National Guard troops supporting a nationwide quarantine. Let me be clear. There has been no such discussion. For news about the great work the Guard is doing to support the COVID-19 response, click this link. Blah, 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 internet hyperlink." End quote. 37,000 troops had plans to go to Germany for a massive training event to demonstrate mobilization capabilities. It turns out would be Germany's hotspot for COVID-19, so it was canceled. However, this would explain the large movement of military vehicles being moved about the globe right now. So that is something to consider. That's just a cover for the Illuminati reptilian overlords to come out of their dens below the ground so that they can subject all of us to the coronavirus 5G death that's going to happen when all the oxygen molecules spin around it. Yeah, or maybe there was an international military operation going on. Not even operation. What's the word I'm looking for? Military. You know what I'm talking about. Not gathering. It's like a scrimmage for football. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The entire Colorado National Guard has not been activated, and there are no immediate plans to declare martial law. So that's good to know. Yay, Colorado. Other than the fact that y'all suck with your gun laws. Beautiful area, though. Worthy mentions. Positive reports of COVID-19 submitted by state of residency, not necessarily the state of diagnosis and treatment. Meaning that if you were diagnosed in Texas, but you were from Alabama, then... Let me just read that again. The toddler just put a tortilla on her head. Positive reports of COVID-19 submitted by the state of residency, not necessarily the state of diagnosis and treatment. Repeat. Scam calls about being pre-approved for Trump's stimulus plan to press 2 to be connected to an operator. Money and identities are still being stolen. Do not do this. Repeat. Hoax. Text going around like wildfire about 2-week U.S. quarantine per the Stafford Act. Several viewers passing it on as a friend, coworker sent me this. This has been addressed as spam multiple times. The National Security Council addressed this. See screenshot below. The gist of the rumor is once National Guard is in place around the nation, 2-week mandatory lockdown for the USA will occur, likely before the end of the weekend. The NSC says the text message rumors of a national quarantine are fake. There is no national lockdown. CDC Gov has and will continue to post the latest guidance on COVID-19. And so, with that, we're done. So if you want the entirety of that report, including the rumors and leaks that I skipped over, You can find it at Patreon. Go to patreon.com. Just look up Bear Independent. And if you need a copy of this book, The Scriptures, you can go to Bear Independent. Go to the Goods and Gear tab. We got iFax and stickers and patches and thumb drives, and I don't even know what the heck else is on there. And let's say a quick prayer and talk to the Father, because the world is in chaos, but He is still sovereign over all. Here we go. Father Yah, thank you for the opportunity to read your word on camera. Thank you for all the intel that is being sent to us by everybody out in the Bear Nation. Father, the world is kind of off the rails, and so I pray, Father, that you would just continue to remind us that you are sovereign over all things, including this. Father, our extended family, great Uncle James, who might have a COVID-19 diagnosis, I pray your hand on that. I pray that you would just minister to him, that you would manifest yourself in ways that are truly undeniable, and that there would be healing, be it your will of him. That this would just simply be an opportunity to build testimony. Father, there are a lot of people who are very uncertain right now, who are anxious, who are afraid, who don't know what to do. And so I pray that you would just send the Comforter, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, Father, that you would be indwelt in us, that you would use this as an opportunity to set us on fire for you, that we would be a light not hidden under a bushel basket, Father, that people would look at us and go, man, the world is melting and you're good. I want some of that. How do I get some of that? Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve your kingdom. Thank you for the fact that even as a busted up POS, there's still redemption for me through Yeshua Messiah. Father, thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. Father, I pray that you just continue to steward us. Father, be this your judgment, that you would bring mercy, even though we have clearly earned this with our disobedience. Father, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. In Yeshua's name, amen. Shalom, y'all. Stay blessed.